most dangerous people never ask. The most dangerous people in your life are rarely the loudest. They do not beg for attention. They do not pressure people. They do not argue endlessly trying to win debates. Yet somehow, things keep going their way. Opportunities appear before they even ask. People agree with them more often than not. Conversations seem to bend toward their preferences, and entire groups subtly reorganize around their presence. Most people assume these individuals are simply lucky or naturally charismatic, but often, neither explanation is true. What they understand is something far older than modern psychology, a principle that Niccolò Machiavelli hinted at centuries ago in The Prince. True power does not force people. True power convinces people that the choice was theirs all along. Most textbooks call this persuasion, but persuasion is only part of the story. Persuasion asks people to agree. Influence, in its most advanced form, makes people act without ever feeling they were influenced, and the secret begins with a simple psychological principle. In 1966, psychologist Jack Graham conducted an experiment that changed how we understand human motivation. Children were asked to rank 4 toys from most desirable to least desirable. Then researchers placed one of the less popular toys behind a transparent barrier. The children could still see it, but they could no longer reach it. When asked to rank the toys again, something remarkable happened. The toy that had previously been ignored suddenly became the most attractive option. The toy itself had not changed. Its availability had. Graham called this phenomenon psychological reactance. Whenever people feel that a freedom is being restricted, they naturally desire that freedom more. The moment something becomes forbidden, unavailable, or out of reach, its value increases in the mind. This principle explains why forbidden relationships often become stronger, why exclusive opportunities seem more attractive, and why scarcity remains one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. The human mind does not like being pushed. It prefers believing it is choosing. This leads to the first reversal of influence, the forbidden door. Throughout history, nearly every culture has told stories about forbidden things. Pandora's box, the forbidden fruit, locked rooms that must never be opened, forbidden knowledge that must never be explored. These stories survive because they reflect something deeply human. People often want what they cannot have more than what is freely available. When you directly tell someone what to do, their ego often resists. Even if your advice is correct, even if it benefits them, the moment it sounds like a command, it threatens their sense of autonomy. Researchers later discovered a similar pattern in romantic relationships. The more parents attempted to prevent certain relationships, the stronger those relationships often became. This became known as the Romeo and Juliet effect. The relationship itself was not always extraordinary. The restriction made it feel extraordinary. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology existed. People are often more affected by what is taken away from them than by what they already possess. A skilled influencer understands this. Instead of pushing people toward an outcome, they create the impression that the outcome is difficult to obtain. Instead of saying, "You should do this," they subtly suggest, "This may not be for everyone." A negotiator might imply that a deal is available only to a select few. A leader might suggest that a challenge is perhaps too difficult for the team. A romantic partner may appear slightly out of reach. The result is predictable. Resistance transforms into pursuit. The locked door becomes irresistible. But influence does not stop there. The second reversal is even more subtle. It is called the borrowed favor. Benjamin Franklin once faced a political rival who openly disliked him. Instead of trying to win him over with compliments or favors, Franklin asked to borrow a rare book from the man's personal library. The request was small. The man agreed. After Franklin returned the book with gratitude, the relationship began to change. Over time, the former enemy became one of Franklin's allies. Years later, psychologists confirmed the same effect experimentally. Participants who were asked to do a small favor for someone ended up liking that person more than those who were never asked. This became known as the Ben Franklin effect. Most people believe relationships work like this. People like you first, then they help you. In reality, the process often works in reverse. People help you, then they convince themselves they must like you. The reason is cognitive dissonance. The mind struggles to hold two conflicting beliefs at once. If someone thinks they dislike you but voluntarily helps you, their brain seeks consistency. The easiest solution is to revise the original belief. If I helped this person, perhaps I don't dislike them after all. This creates an important lesson. If you want genuine goodwill, do not always try to impress people. Sometimes a small request is more powerful than a grand gesture, a recommendation, an opinion, a simple piece of advice. A favor creates investment, and people naturally protect what they invest in. The third reversal is perhaps the most powerful of all, the stolen idea. Robert Greene once argued that the highest form of influence is not receiving credit for an idea. It is allowing someone else to believe the idea belongs to them. People defend what they own, and nothing is defended more fiercely than an idea someone believes they created themselves. When you directly tell people what to think, they evaluate your suggestion. When they arrive at the conclusion themselves, they embrace it. History provides a famous example. In 1870, Otto von Bismarck wanted France to declare war on Prussia. He understood that if Prussia appeared to be the aggressor, other European powers would intervene. So instead of attacking directly, he edited a diplomatic message known as the Ems Dispatch. The revised version appeared insulting to France. Public outrage followed. France declared war. The French believed they were defending their honor. They believed the decision was theirs. In reality, they had stepped into a situation carefully designed for that outcome. This is how advanced influence works. You do not force conclusions. You create conditions that make one conclusion feel natural. People then defend the conclusion as their own. And because they believe it originated inside their minds, the influence becomes nearly invisible. This raises an uncomfortable question. How many of your beliefs are truly yours? How many goals, fears, preferences, and opinions were quietly installed by parents, teachers, media, social networks, or cultural expectations? Many people are not merely exposed to influence, they are products of it. The fourth reversal is the mask of weakness. When Octavian returned to Rome after Julius Caesar's assassination, he appeared insignificant, young, weak, unthreatening. The Senate underestimated him. Instead of aggressively seeking power, he repeatedly appeared reluctant to accept it. Each refusal made others offer more. Each display of restraint increased trust. Eventually, the same political system that underestimated him handed him enormous authority. He became Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Modern psychology supports a similar principle. Researchers discovered what became known as the pratfall effect. Highly competent people often become more likable when they reveal a small imperfection. Perfection can feel intimidating. A minor flaw creates relatability. It signals safety. The most effective operators understand this. They do not display all of their strength immediately. They allow others to feel comfortable. They reveal enough vulnerability to lower defenses. And only when necessary do they reveal their true capability. Visible strength attracts resistance. Concealed strength often avoids it. The final reversal is the gifted victory. Queen Victoria worked closely with two remarkable prime ministers. William Gladstone was brilliant, knowledgeable, and deeply respected. Benjamin Disraeli was different. Instead of simply presenting information, Disraeli made Victoria feel intelligent, important, and influential. He allowed her to feel ownership over decisions. As a result, she strongly preferred his company. This reveals one of the deepest truths about human nature. People do not want to feel persuaded. They want to feel like the persuader. They do not want to feel led. They want to feel like the leader. When someone feels they discovered the solution, negotiated the victory, or reached the conclusion independently, they become emotionally invested in that outcome. That investment creates commitment, and commitment creates influence. This is why many great negotiators willingly surrender credit. They understand that winning the outcome matters more than winning recognition. The person who demands credit may gain applause. The person who quietly shapes events often gains results, and results are the currency of power. The 5 reversals: the forbidden door, the borrowed favor, the stolen idea, the mask of weakness, and the gifted victory share a common foundation. People dislike feeling controlled. So, whenever influence succeeds, the mind creates a story in which the decision was self-generated. That story feels real because the storyteller and the listener are the same person. This leaves us with one final question. How many doors have you opened because someone placed them in front of you? How many ideas do you passionately defend because someone quietly planted them years ago? How many choices feel like freedom but were carefully guided from the beginning? The most skilled operators never announce themselves. That is what makes them effective. And true mastery is not simply recognizing how influence works on others. It is recognizing when it is working on you. The moment you can see the corridor someone has built around your thinking, you gain the ability to choose whether to continue walking through it or step outside and create your own path.